to Living Life Barefoot. Today I'm going to show you how to prep your tray, water, seed, and stack your trays to go into germination. So first you're going to start with a 10 by 20 tray with holes and a 10 by 20 tray without holes. I'm going to put these two together and then they're going to become a unit and they're going to stay like this for the duration of the microgreen growth. And as you can see, the tray with holes went on top of the tray without holes. I just realized that I'm out of soil here in the garage where I usually plant my microgreen trays. I'm going to go grab some soil. So come with me real quick and we'll go grab some soil. All right, so I actually store my soil out in a different area out here in our big shed because we do buy our soil in bulk. So I use this soil for growing microgreens for my customers, and we also rebag the same soil for our microgreen grow kits so that you guys can have high quality organic soil. And like I said, we do order it in bulk because we go through so much soil here with the microgreens business. So we do keep it out here in the big shed where there's a lot more room to store it. All right. It's not too heavy. Gives me some good exercise too, so I can not only get my steps in, lift something heavy while I'm walking. It's really not that bad at all. Just throw it over your shoulder and go. A lot of times, halfway through, you want to throw it to the other shoulder so you keep everything in balance. Okay. So we're going to bring it back into the garage here. And I actually like to dump out my soil into a big tote, and I'll show you why. Okay, there's my scooper. Then I usually just bring the bag in and we'll just dump it out into the tote. It's so much easier to scoop out the soil from here versus in the bags, and it seems to make it less messy as well. Not making a mess. And as you can see here, the soil that I use is a nice light and fluffy mix. It's called SunGrow. Another good brand that I recommend if you're growing either for profit or just for home is ProMix. So you can get SunGrow and ProMix most places. Okay, I got my hair pulled back. It's a nice practice to do when you're working literally with someone's food. So I am growing these microgreens for someone else, and this variety that I'm planting today is all one variety. As you can see here, all my trays are the same color. A lot of times I will color coordinate a crop with the color of the trays. That just helps keep everything straight in the grow room. So we're going to go ahead and take our 10 by 20 trays and we're going to put the soil in it. I love this like animal scooper. It is the exact amount you need to fill a tray, and it's about 3 quarts here. So one full scoop of this goes into the 10 by 20 tray. So you can see how the scoop can make it go pretty quick when you're growing several trays at once. This actually isn't my scheduled planting day, my regular scheduled planting day. This is actually the planting day for my longer growing varieties like arugula. So what I'm planting today, which is Wednesday, and what I'm going to be planting Saturday will all be in the same grow cycle. I'm just planting these ahead of time because they take just a little bit longer to grow than my other microgreens. So what you see me doing here is just leveling out the soil the best I can. This process is pretty easy. Get your hands in the dirt, there's nothing better than that. So I'm going to go ahead and do that for these next 2 trays as well. Okay, I have the soil prepped in the rest of my trays, and the next thing I'm going to do is use my soil press, just like this. It's super easy to press the soil and make it a little more of an even sowing surface. You just don't want like dips and valleys and big craters and holes in your trays, because that could cause issues during germination. Okay, those look pretty good. The next thing you're going to do with your trays is water your trays. I like to put my nozzle on the mist setting, and I like to go through and make a pass or 2 back and forth, and then I really concentrate on the edges of the trays. The edges of your trays tend to dry out faster than any part of your tray when it's in the grow room. If you have an oscillating fan going or a ceiling fan going, that's where the edges of your trays tend to, like I said, dry a lot quicker. So just that extra little attention around the edges with the water will help with that. I do also want to note as well, when you're watering your trays, sometimes I've seen where they just kind of go to the edges and they stop. Make sure that you're going past the edge of your trays, just to make sure again that you're getting the edges nice and wet as well. So you don't want to like saturate your trays where it's holding water or it's cooling water, but you do want to make sure they get a good enough water, because what I teach is after you do the watering and the seeding and the stacking, and you understand all that in a little bit, I teach that you don't unstack those trays or mess with your microgreen trays during the 4 days of germination. So this initial watering is the only watering you're going to do until it's time to unstack your trays. Okay guys, we are actually in my grow room now. I initially had all my seed containers outside in the garage, storing it out there. But now that the temperatures are warming up, the garage is a lot more warm than I would like it to be for storing my seeds. So I brought my seeds indoors, and I just have them in actually my grow room, which it was a spare room. I have them in my closet. So we're gonna go ahead and measure out the seeds. The seed density for your 10 by 20 trays is very, very important. And if you need help on seed densities for the different varieties, please comment below and I will send you a chart. So I basically use one of these scales. I measure all my seeds in grams, and for the arugula, we're gonna measure out 20 grams of seeds. Alright guys, I have my Dixie cups of seeds here. I love using these cups for measuring my seeds and spreading out my seeds. It just is what works best for me. I've seen people use like salt shakers. That would work too. So just find something that works best for you and that is easy to handle and easy to spread out your seeds. So we're going to go ahead and spread these out. I like to spread my seeds out as even as I possibly can. You don't want a hill of seeds, dry seeds, on your soil, because during the germination phase they could potentially mold and cause issues in your trays. So you definitely want to make sure that you get them spread out as well as you possibly can. So I usually like to make one pass on the outer edge, a pass in the middle, and then the other outer edge. And then if I have any seeds left, which I usually do, I will actually start shaking it in the opposite direction. So I will show you that now. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and start with this tray, and hopefully I can get all this in the camera here. So I'm gonna go ahead and just spread them out as even as I can. So there's my outer edge, middle, and the other edge. And now, like I said, I'm gonna go in the opposite direction. And I still have some left, so then I'll just spread them out. And any bare spots that I might have, I'll kind of go over that. But see if you can see that here. That looks pretty good, so I'm going to go ahead and seed the rest of my trays here. Okay, we have the seeds now planted on top of the soil. No soil that's going to go on top of the seed. I'm going to put my cups over there, and we're going to give these trays one more watering before they go into germination. Okay, we've given our trays their final watering before they go into germination. And this part is a little bit different than I usually do on my other varieties of microgreens. So from this point, I would stack my trays on top of each other 4 high, and then I would put a black solid tray on top of those trays that were stacked 4 high. And then I would put weight on top of that for 4 days in germination. Arugula is going to be a little bit different. This is something that I just recently learned, this method, and it has proven to give me much better yields in my growing of the arugula. So I highly suggest not stacking your microgreen arugula and actually just doming the trays on top, just like this. So you'll take the tray, and instead of having it inverted, it's going to be like a dome on top of your trays. And actually, most of my black trays are in my grow room. We'll go ahead and move these trays back into the grow room and put them on my germination station for 4 to 5 days. Guys, welcome back to my grow room, germination room, seed storing room. This is where my microgreen trays, after planted, will go to their final destination for 10 to 14 days during the grow cycle before it's time to harvest. And for the arugula microgreens, they're actually going to be here for 14 days. Most of my other varieties that I grow are on a 10-day grow cycle. So I'm just going to move them from this rolling rack, which is very handy in my microgreens business, onto the germination station. And then, like I said, I'm going to take black trays and just dome them over the unit of trays that I have planted. So remember at the beginning of this video, I said I was going to show you how to prep your trays, water, plant, and stack your trays. Well, I forgot I was planting micro-arugula, which is a little bit different. Like I said, I do usually stack my trays 4 high at this point, and here is the weight that I actually put on top of those 4 trays. One of these big pavers, I actually will put it, I'll slide it all the way back up against the back edge of the tray. And then I'll take one of these smaller pavers and put it towards the beginning of the tray. So the whole entire tray is pretty level when it comes to the weight that's on there. Why do I put weight on top of my microgreen trays? It just helps with good seed soil contact. Microrugula are just a little bit of a different variety when it comes to germination and watering. So they don't like as much water as my other varieties do. So, alright guys, how easy was planting microgreens? Super easy. They're going to stay here just like this for 4 to 5 days for the microrugula. All my other varieties stay in germination and stay stacked for 4 days. No peeking, no watering, nothing like that. Just leave them alone. And then on day 4 is when I unstack the trays and put them in blackout or introduce them to light. And I actually have some trays that I just unstacked today, so I'll show you what that looks like really quickly. And then I'll show you some trays that are about ready for harvest, so you can kind of see the different stages of the microgreens. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you've been thinking about growing microgreens, be sure to head to barefootmicrogreens.com and check out our beginner grow kits. I'll also link that down below for you. And if you're interested in growing microgreens for profit, please check out my course book, Tiny Greens, Big Dreams, where you can start your own microgreens business. Thanks for watching today, guys. Make sure you subscribe to our channel and like and share our videos. We'll catch you on the next one.